Luke 6, verse 46, Jesus speaking. And why call ye me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say? Calling someone Lord by definition means you obey what they have to say. And as far as Jesus goes, John 8:58, before Abraham was, I am. If you compare that with Exodus 3, verse 14, where God is referred to as I am, and you read 1 Corinthians 10, verse 4, Jesus was the God of the Old Testament. The Old Testament 10 Commandments were spoken by the Word who became Jesus. So if you're going to call him Lord, you ought to do what he said, both then and now. Matthew 21, verse 28 through 30. But what think ye? A certain man had 2 sons, and he came to the first and said, Son, go work today in my vineyard. He answered and said, I will not. But afterward he repented and went. And he came to the second and said likewise. And he answered and said, I go, sir, and went not. Which of those 2 did the will of his father? Jesus asked. The one who did what he said. Matthew 15, verse 9. Start at verse 8. This people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips, but their heart is far from me. For in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Jesus said, in vain do they worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. If you obey God, you'll do what he said. John 14, verse 15, if you love me, keep my commandments. John 15, verse 14, you are my friends if you do whatever I command you. 1 John 2, verse 4, he who says I know him and does not keep his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. 1 John 5, verses 2 through 3, by this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and keep his commandments. For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not burdensome. I love it when people go to Matthew 22, verses 37 through 40, and claim that Jesus is getting rid of the 10 Commandments with those 2 commands, even though those 2 commands are from Deuteronomy 6, verse 5, and Leviticus 19, verse 18. Ridiculous. It says in the Bible, rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. We obey our parents, we obey our bosses. Why wouldn't we obey the God who died for us? Peace all. Bye-bye.